Sorted! No problems. There's a little panel gap there. It's not too noticeable. Fresh air though in. So I believe this episode is front end still, flip front end. Obviously there's stuff going on with the wiring, but while I'm waiting for a couple of parts, we're going to try and fit the bonnet. We have some new bonnet hinges. I think these are 25 quid with a few bolts, and whilst that seems expensive to me for a couple of shaped pieces of metal, second hand they seem to be going for 20 quid. So it seemed a bit nonplussed really, and I need to paint them anyway, so trying to rub down some old ones just seems expensive just for 2 bits of metal, but there we go. They seem good quality, nicely cut, don't need finishing or anything, just need to fit them, paint them. So the issue I'm having is datum points for the front, so I've made a datum point on the scuttle panel, and the bonnet is pretty square. It had very minimal rust and damage to it, and we've all fixed that on a previous episode. So I'm hoping to fit the bonnet and use that as a sort of datum as I'm going forward to know sort of where to put the front end a little bit. We've also got the A-panels fitted, but the bonnet is sort of the squarest, most original panel that we have to work forward. So today, fit the bonnet, and then just start maybe tweaking the front end, see if we can get it close to lining up. That wing also has a kink in it, so we're going to just whip the front end off, trying to fix that kink. No point having a kink in it when we're trying to align stuff. So that looks a lot straighter, minus this little bit here. And that's the other side which wasn't damaged. You can obviously see where I've been bashing at in that centre section. A little bit of work to finish it off, including, I say, this little kink, but the line is pretty much there, other than this bit here, which will help with lining up the bonnet. There's still a little bit of something there. It's about 1,000 times better. So our bonnet issue is this. The bonnet is slid back as far as it will go on the brand new hinges. There is only one hinge point on this Mini, so apparently it's not a 90s Mini, it must be 80s Mini. So we have this gap, and it's actually a very even gap, which is a good sign. It means the scuttle's okay, means the bonnet's okay. So what we're going to have to do, thank you very much, Classic Mini group on Facebook. All so helpful, I really do appreciate you all. I don't really want to modify the brand new hinges and try and drill these out and stuff. Basically the curve is just too long, so it should be a tighter curve that goes under here, the other side of this. So I think the simplest thing to do is actually move these points forward. So at some point we will cut or drill out this mounting plate on the bonnet and move it forward about 15-20 mil, but we're going to measure up what it is and try and put it somewhere in the middle so it gives us adjustment still on the hinges so we can get the bonnet in the right place. So I'll take multiple measurements from this scuttle and then take away a couple of millimeters, obviously for clearance for the bonnet shutting on this edge here and opening, and use that as our measurement for this. So let's do that now. It's a pretty even 20 mil gap all the way along. Allowing a couple of millimeters, we might want to move it just back 18 mil or so. But if we move it to that point, we've got no adjustment at all. So we'll probably go for a 20 mil plus or minus 1 millimeter movement on the hinge. So then we've got 3 or 4 mil movement still to get it absolutely spot on in here, and obviously adjust it for the wings a little bit as well. Alright, modified side, modified side. Now what I'm likely to do is see if this works first, and then put a plate to extend this support in the corner underneath this edge here. I could just cut it across. I've got 3 good welds, 4, 5 welds on it, but I think I might just put a little plate just to come across under here to catch this. We'll see how good it is. A bit hot to touch still. Might be okay. It just looks a bit odd as well. I'd like something to sort of finish that off, so I might just put a piece of plate round to finish that off, but we'll see if it works first. So I'm going to replicate that on the other side. I'll just show you on video rather than time-lapse a couple of things I did. So first let's clean this up, and I'm then going to put a sort of jig in place. So a straight edge here and a straight edge here, so I can keep it in the same line as this one, and also then the distance will be the same as well. Hoping that will work, but we shall soon see. So it's what I would call a jig, basic, very basic jig. And this is now we need to keep that same angle and just slide it forward or back, forward or aft. I could modify the hinges. I know if you're all screaming that right now, but I'm modifying this. Seems like the easier way in my head. Certainly has been easier so far anyway. So that's what I'm doing. So next we drill out 3 rivets, slide it forward 22mm, weld it back on. Okay, so all measured up, 22mm. Little magnet on the back just to hold it in place. 3 holes drilled, ready. We'll do a little tack, just check the measurement, and then drill and then weld the 3 holes. Take this off, weld on the back side, and then break this off here, clean it all up. Okay, pretty happy with those welds. Nice fill, nice penetration, nice and strong. Should do the job nicely. As I say, I might just do a little piece of plate just to finish off this edge at a later time. Let's clean that up, give it a bit of primer like the other side, and see if it works. We're on the hinges, and we have the gap we want. Oh yeah! Boom! It just slides back a little bit on the 2 pins and just touches. It will be about 1 millimetre wider, that gap, once it's finished, because the pins here on the actual hinges just move a little bit. But it's nice and even, so I'm happy with that. Now get the wings on and sort that corner out, which I was going to show you after mentioning the bonnet, and I thought I'd better get the bonnet done. So I got the bonnet done. We do have clearance issues, by the way. We're probably going to have a little discrete bulge here. That's what I'd quite like. A little bulge. It'd look pretty cool, I think. That's what we're going to do. Okay, again, a little bit of boring work. So I'm not going to be boring you with it. Apologies to those. I know they want to see every little bit working out, but that would mean each video would be an hour and not much progress made. I'd like to show you some progress. So this is my progress. So this side, she was sitting very, very high, so as she came round she went up, and then here she was actually contacting, if you remember, so she was curling in. So we've made 2 changes to this edge, and I'm pretty happy with it. Obviously this is going to be flipping down and up, chink, like this. It follows the contour of the scuttle panel, and it doesn't sit so proud. It sits proud the other side. We're going to just try and lower that down. There's a flange behind here which is too big, I believe. We obviously want a gap here so that the rain can run down into this scuttle alley here, which I'll extend down below here and then drop down down there. So any rain coming down, it doesn't just kind of sit in here in this join or just dribble straight back down. It'll have a channel to run down, as I will do here as well. So there's obviously no inner wing, but I will run a channel on this side of the wing. So again, as the water flows down off the bonnet and down here, and the channel will go that way and block off here. It'll actually run down here rather than running straight down onto the gearbox and all the electrics, etc. We don't want that happening. So just try and get that side a bit lower, and then we'll look at making the connections here for it to slot into and hinge at the front. Those are our next two steps.